Free them all. Bear with us, cut with us. Y'all be tuning in right now. We gotta go do unfortunate. Trying to update on our technology. I ain't really crazy about that artist rendition of Chairman Fred, so.
Now?
Yeah, good now. Yep, free them all. Yep. Man. Free them all, y'all. We gonna, y'all see what kind of I ain't crazy about that artist rendition of Chairman Fred, so it's kind of semi there, but not there. All due respect. We go live on Zoom. Unfortunately, unable to go live on Zoom today. We're gonna give 2 minutes, y'all. Bear with us, yeah, cub with us. Free them all. We live and direct. Live and direct, y'all. Heads up, eyes open, and fists clenched. Y'all know who this is and how we do this. Welcome again to another edition of Free them all Radio. One of the programs of the Black Panther Party Cubs. One of the survival programs of the Black Panther Party Cubs. Put this in this historical as well as political context. Communication is one of the first things in war, one of the first dynamics of war that the adversary attempts to dismantle. So we say communication is important. Information is what the Black Panther Party said. Information is raw material for new ideas. Okay, information is raw material for new ideas, y'all. So with that being said, we gonna keep on. We gonna ride this till the wheels fall off and get them. Even after that, we'll still hit the concrete. We in the serious stage in the game, as we say in regards to the African Anti-Terrorism Bill. Code green, code black, code red. It's code red. It is code red. Again, it is code red in regards to the terrorism that African people in particular are subjected to. So we as we're Chairman Fred, so we got to move fast. We have to move organized. We have to move fast. We have to move organized. We're in the process of trying to up the ante on a lot of our technology. So y'all, we kind of tweaking different things as we go. We attempted to go via what is referred to as a Zoom. So I'm learning as we go a lot of these different dynamics. We went through Zoom earlier. I think the video was posted, mobilization that we had earlier today. This mobilization was in regards to, well, first of all, I would be remiss if I don't do our revolutionary ritual. Revolutionary love and respect to everyone. We're going to give a roll call to everybody who's tuning in right now. If y'all can, take a pause for the calls. Stop for a minute. Tweet, Instagram, reshare, let people know to come on, tune in. Better yet, as we say, come on, cub, being with us here on Free them all Radio. So, while y'all doing that, also, as we say, sometimes open that front door and that back window and let them know that we live and direct, you know what I'm saying? We live and direct on Free them all Radio. Call in number 929-477-3785. Again, call in number 929-477-3785, then press 1. On a lighter note, forget that background noise going on. You got these escape artists, these Rottweilers, you know what I'm saying, trying to make their moves up out of here. So forget that back noise, them puppies, they get that background noise. But with that being said, y'all, we are honored, fortunate, you know what I'm saying, to have those tuning in. Again, Free them all, revolutionary love. We definitely want to get a revolutionary roll call. Everyone who's tuning in, if y'all can let people know, tune in, cub being with us. 929-477-3785 to get to be plugged in for a comment. You press 1. Press 1. Code red. Code red. Code red. I put a post up earlier. It's in these times, it's being magnified. It's more, intense of what we've been going through, quite some time, the war, and every day and every, even hourly, contradictions are being heightened. And, the discussion that you hear, ranges from the community. People acknowledging different dynamics such as chemical, biological warfare. Chemical, biological warfare, to even conversation in the community where people are talking about, these checks, stimulus checks, and it brings the surface, graphic realities that tactics such as in which U.S. imperialism in particular has been notorious with, tactics such as what is referred to as the carrot and the stick. Again, the carrot and the stick. This is when you come through the big stick and you use brutal tactics. And then even with the carrot to bring to bait those back. Reward and punishment that make even dog training tactics pale in comparison. So just even the fact that and we have to acknowledge these contradictions. Just the fact that that people are even having a conversation about these stimulus checks. That's a reality. Something with oppression, we we have historically witnessed that all of us do not deal with it the same way. It ranges from what was referred to as the Stockholm syndrome, which was a term derived in 1972 in Sweden, Stockholm, when those who were kidnapped, someone was kidnapped, when people tried to save them or rescue them. Some of these people were to the point that they had identified with their captors, or even with people saying, "What's the discussion?" Some people even now you're talking about dealing how we survive at what extent. Like we said, the position is that there's a difference between living and existing. And what's the first thing in your mind? And again, we are still in the mud. For all practical purposes, we are in the mud, and we also, in addition to that, we are in foreign territory. Different days. Medically, we get different summations of input. From different points of view. About whatever side of the political fence you reside on, and whether you're organized or whatever whether you feel this is some dynamic, in regards to a metaphysical summation or a political summation, it's a reality, and that's something that everyone has to come to grips with. There's a reality, and the deal is we have to acknowledge also that contradictions that previously that we've seen, you're gonna see them on steroids now. In other words, those who are opportunists, you're gonna see them on intensified. Those who who you look at, you say, man, this person always had a compassion for the people. You're gonna see that intensified. Those who had an individualistic position, you're gonna see that intensified. And the deal is, we are in the stage in the game that we cannot afford the luxury. So just say, okay, well, maybe this person to come to grips with this will change. We have to acknowledge the different dynamics within our community. How people and deal with, as Chairman Fred said, revolution is a scientific art, and that summation can be applied to how we have to deal with this contradiction. Even though this is on a borderline, can be defined as reactionary times. But the deal is, similar to even the organizer, the reactionary element is necessary for certain discussions to happen. And you look at historically with revolutions, whether we're talking about in Africa, whether we're talking about China, Vietnam, the Philippines, whatever the case may be, the Black Power movement right here in the 60s, there were different reactionary elements, that were necessary. This is necessary ingredient to spark certain discussions. There are discussions now that are happening throughout, throughout the communities that previously were not happening. We have to recognize that there are some cold actions, some cold contradictions that people will engage in to survive, have engaged in to survive. And in fact, our position has been We relate to the old saying, the old axiom, more work in peacetime, less work in wartime. So let's make sure we remember those resumes of where we've been at. You know what I'm saying? We reckon that they're going to do some cold things, but struggle not to become a cold people, y'all. Again, we live in the record on Freedom already. Y'all feel free to tap in. What is the Cub in? What is it? 929-477-3785. We want to open up the lines. We want updates. You know what I'm saying? We call them for updates internationally. Again, internationally. Wherever you at, you know what I'm saying? Because again, these are not local contradictions. They may vary in different, you know, some different dynamics. Like maybe a curfew and still in one location at a certain time, a different curfew at another time. But we need on the ground what are the people seeing? You know what I'm saying? Not just limited to what the ruling class media is putting out, but different contradictions. For example, we're not live on Blog Talk. Wow. Okay, so talk to me, Sister Comrade. So, is it silent on Blog Talk? Okay, Sister Comrade just hit me to the fact that we're not coming through on Blog Talk Radio. So is it just going out, or is it static, delayed? There's nothing being heard on there? I'm not. Wow. I'm going to try to hang up and call right back, Comrade. Let's just try that. And if not, we got direct people. Oh, my call dropped. Okay, we're going to call them right back. Bear with us, y'all. Blog Talk Radio.
Okay, I'll take that.
Get free my right click right on. Bear with us, better get Cub with us.
Welcome to Blog Talk Radio. You are now in the host queue.
Free Mark, can you hear me now, Comrade? Can I be heard now?
Unmuted.
Free Mark, Comrade, am I back on?
Yes. Live and direct.
Live and direct. Okay, we live and direct on Blog Talk. Y'all come on, call in, Cub in with us, 929-477-3785. Let me get a clenched fist salute to all y'all, again, who tune in with us here. Also, to what we refer to as the people's first responders. Again, the people's first responders. Some people take the position that we know you don't have to post up anything that you're doing. You're not doing it for any fame. However, we think it's important, especially in regards, we're not just fighting for the physical life, our physical life. We're fighting for, as the Black Panther Party said, we're fighting for the hearts and minds of the masses of the people. We're fighting for the hearts and minds of the masses of the people. And the deal is what we've said before, being oppressed is embarrassing. Again, being oppressed is embarrassing. And the deal is, in many cases, whether we're talking about different phenomena, different attacks, various forms of the counterinsurgency, you know, so that they've hit the black community in particular, whether we're talking the crack, the dope, other strands of chemical biological warfare. The state recognizes the importance of showing certain images. You know what I'm saying? In particular images. I mean, from down to the editing room, the images of, you know what I'm saying, of our mothers, you know what I'm saying, our aunts and our uncles and people being demoralized and police coming through the doors and, you know, pulling babies from mothers' arms and, you know, and pulling out bags of crack and you know what I'm saying? And it's demoralizing. And then so we want to make sure we struggle. Right on, I'm going to roll back up in a minute. I got you. I just seen that post. I'm coming back, no doubt. Right on. I'm on that. The images of that, and it's not. We don't want, and even in regards like even the contradiction of us being kidnapped continues all the time. You heard me say a number of different times. Is there anyone on these 48-hour shows that does not snitch, does not, you know, so does not, you know, collaborate with the state? And the deal is that those images they don't show that. And it's part of the propaganda. In fact, Commandante Che Guevara said that the role of the propagandist is as important as that of the guerrilla. And the state recognized the importance of propaganda. So with that being said, it's strategic that we do struggle to acknowledge. Actually, we are incapable of acknowledging how serious, how detrimental the various forms of counterinsurgency is, whether it be the crack, AIDS, heroin, what have you. Because again, we can't even fathom. This is a system that'll knock his own off. You know what I'm saying? It moves past any realm of the, you know what I'm saying, and not of, you know, of the limits of the colonized mind. And not to say that there are not those who, if they could be a part of that system, that's what we distinguish the petty bourgeoisie. That's from the bourgeoisie, the aspiring capitalists from the capitalists. Because, you know, many of those would love to be gangsters with this system. You know what I'm saying? But the deal is, it's a dynamic that is so, it's a machine that's so Machiavellian and so detrimental. Again, in all humbleness, we came in pieces the dynamics of it. So with that being said, it's important also to struggle to acknowledge the contradiction, acknowledge the death toll. Whether, you know what I'm saying, whatever the different specifics of how it's going. The deal is, it's like every day we hear about the death toll, and Field Marshal George Jackson said that capitalism not only affects the economy, but it affects the psychic of the people. And the deal is also the struggle for that in regards to that balance. We feel it important to show you, to tell people like, yes, there were collaborators, there were, you know what I'm saying, there was different, you know, our community during the era of chattel slavery, the betrayal. However, it's important to also know about the uprisings and the resistance of those of the late great Reverend Nat Turner. It's important that not to romanticize the Black Power movement of the 60s. You know what I'm saying? And also we talk about the era during the sharecropping and so on and so forth. Yes, the Ku Klux Klan has a notorious history. You know what I'm saying? In regards, you know what I'm saying, in regards to the attacks on our community. However, it should be noted also for the record, there were areas, there were locations that the Ku Klux Klan dared not even tread to go to. This is important, you know what I'm saying, I mean, even in death, even in defeat in certain battles, that we able to leave some symbolism of resistance to trickle down to future generations. For as Field Marshal George Jackson also said, that we're fighting for the unborn, the living, and the dead. Again, we are fighting for the unborn, the living, and the dead. We're not just simply fighting in regards to for this present day time. We must struggle to be service of the people and service of history, so we cannot be constantly playing the catch-up game, because a lot of us are coming from a deficit on just now coming to grips with what this system would do. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you hear people say, well, they can't do that. You know, and people are getting cliff notes. They're getting reactionary lessons, you know what I'm saying, on how the system gets down. I mean, there's not been a conversation, you know, from child rearing about the Tuskegee experiment. You know, the Tuskegee experiment is you know what I'm saying, the dynamics of crack, so on and so forth. In other communities, the victims of Nazi Germany and the Holocaust, from the womb, from inception, it's known about the gas chambers, the role of comedians, and the role of every dynamic. In fact, they take a position to never again. And we have to struggle again to move in fast speed, because a lot of cats are playing catch up. You know what I'm saying? Have no concept of, you know what I'm saying, and this is a result of so many different dynamics. The way we attack, who was attacked, who was picked up, who was left as spokespersons. Though there's a reactionary representative, right? U.S. President Donald Trump. There's a reactionary representative. The system itself is not a reactionary, you know what I'm saying, reactionary dynamic. You know what I'm saying? I mean, everything from the different dynamics that was put in place prior to that we're just hearing about COVID-19. You know, so something like in New Orleans, hurricane, what a lot of people call Hurricane Katrina, we refer to as Hurricane America. That, I mean, it was exposed later, in hindsight, how prior to the Hurricane America in New Orleans, U.S. Vice President Dick Cheney, the contracts that were, you know, that were issued out to Halliburton for the contractors, the radio stations, black radio stations inclusive, were giving out these one-way tickets up out of New Orleans. So, you know what I'm saying? So these were different dynamics that was put in place. and you look back, you look in recent history, prior to this, how certain organizations were lifted up as our spokesperson to lull us asleep. It can be quoted to like in Stateville and in concentration camps, how before the April 1995 shutting down of the prisons, how they used the Richard Speck tapes, the infamous Richard Speck tapes, to justify shutting all movement down inside the prisons and inside the concentration camps. There were different dynamics put in place. There were certain organizations, certain representatives put in place to create a class peace, to get you comfortable, to put your guards down, to become low, to not also become low, to also to rear end an upcoming generation that they had no concept of struggle. They have no frame. A lot of people tell me, what's wrong with these millennials? They have no. You look at that. I mean, it was no concept. No frame of reference. You know, this is some people have said this is the most courageous generation. I said I beg to differ. This has been actually in many senses one of the most privileged. The most privileged, you know what I'm saying? I mean, every dynamic, just everything from Ag Siri, you know what I'm saying? I was on a expressway one time, and I seen these two young ladies, their car was smoking, it was shut down, and I said, wow, they have no frustration. They're not even concerned. They're not worried about it. And it seemed like a symbol of bravery. The deal was, I seen them in a matter of minutes, just call for Uber, you know what I'm saying? And you're going to, the deal is, as I said, in many cases with the police terrorism, you look into the faces of a lot of these youth when the police get out. It's actually a shock. Like they can't even fathom. There's no concept. This is the history of how the police get out. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. Y'all feel free to call in with us, y'all. We live and direct in the spirit of making history, taking history, and taping history. Quality, man, good to see you in the building. I see a lot of respect. Let me say this also again, y'all. We're gonna be doing the Zoom. Also, I'm doing the event April 4th via Zoom. We're trying to up the ante, you know what I'm saying? Again, that's where the Erica Yesko is here, free them all. Tony Ho, free them all. Tay Davis, free them all. Toya, that's what it is. Let's make history, take history, and tape history, y'all. Revolution Love, free them all, y'all calling in right on. Toya in the building, Craig, I see free them all. Free them all, Tay Davis, right on. Hold on, excuse me, pardon us. On the Comrade Cool and Jerry, Toya, free them all. Quabbin, free them all. Adam, feel free to tap in, let us know what's happening in LA. Dre Dox, free them all. That's what it is. On Long Street, Craig, free them all. Touchdown with Roderick Hicks, again, free them all. And also, free them all. Roderick Hicks, free them all. Kevin Bell, Milan Rush, free them all. Bobby Williams, Giovanni, the free them all. Comrade Cool, Lisa Tate, free them all. On the Comrades, Trump's want bank information. See? Wow. Yo, this is something we just saying. The small print, we talk about that. A lot of times we just see the check, you know what I'm saying, the different dynamics. They tell me they want the bank information, the census take, all these different, the small print that comes with it. And I know it's hard to move emotional, you know what I'm saying, because in fact, even a lot of the activities going on in our community, a lot of people say it's just bad morality, we just natural born killers. But as Marcus Garvey said, when poverty comes to the front door, morality leaves at the back window. Farage in the building, free them all. Okay, we back on. Okay, not been on. Okay, right on. Comrade, so we back on blog. Right on. Back live. Santoya, free them all. Right on. Comrade Stans. Want to mention Slim Coleman's hospitalized. His resume led the International Intercommunal Survival Committee in the 46th Ward in Uptown. These were the whites that took the BPP newspaper and party's programs to the white community under. Directors of the party traveled back and forth to central headquarters to meet with the servant. And Slim fine-tuning the programs after Rush walked away. It was me and Slim that of the 42nd Street officer servant told me Slim was a good comrade. Many more stories of loyalty. Was a good dude. And then you say he's presently hospitalized hospitalized. Let me again. This is on steroids. The notice, and this is what we hearing about day to day. You know what I'm saying? In fact, just want to, even we get word, this came up in regard to discussion about Erica Gordon Taylor, the cousin Emmett Till, who I just, we had dialogue with last week, and then we get the news the next day she had passed. And we hearing bits and pieces about what's happening in the hospital, so on and so forth. And there's just even the, as I said earlier, foreign territory, the rules and regulations about, even the visitation hospital. We got, in fact, Erica Emma Till's cousin, when she's in the hospital, dealing with some health issues prior to even hearing about this, the COVID. Before the COVID-19 had took center stage, she telling me that they had to her mom. She later on they got the word. Our family couldn't even come visit her. Everything from how we grieve, how we mourn, to how we visit. You know what I'm saying? This is how we it's creating a different dynamic, a different discussion. So again, we want and put forces and keep us updated with different forces that that are being hit. Like I said, in still foreign territory. We don't know if it's existing medical issues or however, whatever the case. This by no doubt, no doubt. This whole discussion, they're talking about the COVID-19 coronavirus, even this 5G technology. They're talking about these. It's at minimum enhancing, exacerbating. It's similar to like you talk about saying like there was certain drugs in our community, but there are certain times you say, wait a minute, something is to this. There's been something has been placed on the coca leaf. To exacerbate, to move at super speed, and then it's interconnected. Those who the medical staff are so depleted, so drained of resources and time. Which is something been happening in our community all the time. It's similar to like we're talking about the Great Depression. A lot of black people say, well, the depression even happened though. But again, this is terrible. Chairman Mao Zedong says it's terrible, but it's fine because it's opening, for lack of better terms, the political pores. Again, the political pores for certain discussions to happen. So again, yeah, right on. So we keep us updated on that, Comrade Stan, no doubt about it. In regards to Reverend Slim Coleman, when you're my king, I'm glad you tuned in with this. What it is, power people, man, right back at you. Tara B. Okay, we'll do Marion Coleman, Levon, free them all, right on. Don't remember, right on, free them all. That's what it is, y'all. We live and direct, y'all. So yeah, y'all tune in with us. You know what I'm saying? I see man Tony over there. Okay, Comrade Nikki, Tay, Craig, OG Bryant, terminology of the Comrade, Toya. Okay, Trey Docs. Okay, right on. We're going to this revolutionary roll call again, y'all. Y'all tune in. 929-477-3785. Y'all tune in with us, clubbed in with us, y'all. Today we did a Cub and community caravan by the infamous Cook County Jail, and I think it's posted. The video's reposted. Cook County Jail. I've been I relate to Democrat essentially. I relate to structure. I got some phone calls. Our comrades and people, it's our community and our advisory board been on our heels. Like, listen, Chairman, we know you ain't gonna go cold turkey and just stop getting out there, but it's really struggle to pick your moves, be strategically. So we really, it's like telling us to just stop struggling, stop organizing overnight. It's like it's kind of on the flip side, like telling them pigs, you dig, stop writing tickets. It's their nature, it's our nature to organize. So we do it, and we have to struggle to be scientifically. So we had to deal with a car caravan. We pushing for the call to demand the release of those held captive in Cook County Jail and all these other concentration camps. We definitely, hiding the contradictions. Again, by the state's own definition, they're saying that this whole thing about what they refer to as social distancing. Speaking of which, it is ironic that everything that we do that we speak about naturally is somehow whether shooting dice on the corner, that they take it and they criminalize and they exploit it and come with the casinos and profit off of it. Growing greens and gardening, they criminalize it, and next thing you know, they come with this Go Green campaign. They take the black community, you know what I'm saying? Unlike the white community, the black community has this thing like, man, that's my space. Don't violate my space. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you don't have much. You fight for the little you got. And it's something now that they take certain terms now and they exploit it. Now it's called social distancing. You know what I'm saying? Something that, you know, that's foreign to foreigners. You know what I'm saying? But it's ironic. But again, we today in Cook County Jail, and we really we need people to do call-ins. The man and woman those phones. There has been a small amount of prison, what they refer to as detainees, those who held captive, released. But this is Cook County Jail has a notorious history prior to this. Cook County Jail, you know, so we exposed before 17-year-old sisters have been forced to rinse out their sanitary napkins for reuse. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, this is the history of this place anyway. You know what I'm saying? So we really got to push forward. So we're going to be doing some more caravans at Cook County Jail and other places, you know what I'm saying, demanding the release of those held captive in Cook County Jail. Money, Levon, Nicole, you said money is going digital. Yeah, okay, yeah. Give us a little more information if you can, a little more information. So I'm gonna surmise that you're saying like this, eradicating the whole paper currency, you know. So what should give us? We hear different. So what do you in particular the Bitcoin or what have you? Give us a little more insight in regards to that, and feel free to call in or type in. Reggie Moore, Kwamina says, Iran freed thousands of prisoners due to this pandemic. This can be found Al Jazeera. He posted up. Where is it at? 20 hour here. Iran frees prisoners. Coronavirus outbreak. Iran. Okay. And this is something that the places in which has been slandered and the propaganda put out about these various places that Iran, you know, even Cuba, you know what I'm saying, the leaps and bounds in regards to the medical field. We're hearing different rumors about Cuban doctors being transported all over the world, you know, in regards to with this coronavirus. You know what I'm saying? In places where they say these tyrants are in power. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the fact that Iran itself has freed thousands of prisoners, and the deal is, again, it's consistent. I mean, these countries are consistent. You know, I mean, places like the U.S. I mean, that hosts, I mean, per capita, the largest prison population. That, you know what I'm saying? And again, it's ripe with contradictions. As Malcolm X said, America's democracy is an hypocrisy. The contradiction that on one hand, they're talking about the importance of the curfews and the importance that you run the same line. It's on you, like they tell the children, the crime in our community. It's on the parents. You know what I'm saying? How you deprived of the power to deal with it. So they're telling you on one hand, you know, you can't. You know what I'm saying? It's on you to stop this. A lot of people they regurgitate, the community regurgitates that. They take the blame on it. You know, say, well, you know, I mean, no thought about the system. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And we're not forcing absolutes, like, you know, like even in crime in our community. You know what I'm saying? Yes, we recognize there are some mercenaries that, you know what I'm saying, because the state can't do what they do without certain, you know what I'm saying, certain people who are, you know, complicit with the system. But who pulls the strings? And this, that, and you know what I'm saying? And if they say one hand, you know, how these people, you know, you can't, the people are doing this, and you still at the same breath. You know, it should be a question about the largest county jail in the country. Cook County Jail is the largest. Go look at the images that we put up from earlier today. The largest Cook County Jail in the country. The fact that they still held captive there is more than the crime. So again, we are reinforcing, reiterating the clamor, the call, free them all. In regards to Cook County Jail and every other concentration camp in this country. In fact, in the spirit of internationalism throughout the world. The agencies are offering money, grants. They want to deposit digitally. Okay, so money grants. So people, it's like stocks, bonds. What is? So they saying you take your ballot grants, and then, you know what I'm saying, they transfer the banks and the state, different agencies. They transport it, transform it to digital. Is that what you're saying? I've been hearing something about this also. Yes, indeed. And feel free to call in, Levant. You feel free to call in. Feel free to call in. Sister Conrad, we have any callers in queue? And any
Come on, Brother Terry. No callers in queue. Callers press 1 if you'd like to come into queue. Come on.
we still putting pressure on various, saying, our loved ones are here, Captain, those concentration camps, the elderly, senior citizen homes, what have you. Take nothing for granted, y'all. If you know it's rough out here, you can imagine what's going on with our people here captive. You can imagine what's going, you know what I'm saying? So again, take nothing for granted, y'all. Nothing for granted. So let's make sure we anticipate those calls, those here, you know what I'm saying, these different locations. And we want to keep this communication. We're trying to work on setting up every day. In fact, this is the premium chairman's desk updates. And this is not, you know what I'm saying, this is where we want to, with the various resources that you have access to. In fact, speaking of which, tomorrow, the pantry, what's Sister Conrad, you can, the pantry address, and what time is it open, the pantry, tomorrow?
The address is 838 West Marquette. It's at the corner of 67th and Green at the old Whitman Mays Elementary School, and the pantry opens at 10 to 2. Yeah, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
67th and what again? 67 what?
Green, at the corner of 67 and Green.
67 and Green. That's 1 block west of Halsted.
1 block west of Halsted.
1 block west of Halsted. 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. The pantry is there. Inbox me, or you know what I'm saying, or we can work if someone needs some transportation. The pantry is still open. Food supplies are there. We won't start, you know, so that's from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Food supplies there. Also, we still have food supplies, you know, on deck at the Hampton House. Save the Hampton House campaign. The Free Mumia Abu Jamal camp is still going. It's still going. We gotta walk and chew gum at the same time, y'all. We have to be multifaceted. You know what I'm saying? We recognize this is a primary contradiction in regards to COVID-19. However, we just had a conference call with the attorneys for Mumia Abu Jamal, and in response to this, what is referred to as a King Bench ruling. And I forgot the back and forth legal jargon we went through with that. But however, we just had a conference call with that. But we're intensifying the call to demand the freedom of Mumia Abu Jamal. Again, it's still murders. We're still being gunned down in Chirac. You know what I'm saying? So don't think that this state does not. It does not just take. It's like it's just one of its tentacles up and let you relax on this one. Keep our guards up for all these different dynamics. You know what I'm saying? Different contradictions. So we still fighting in regards to the Mumia Abu Jamal, Save the Hampton House campaign. So we're working on putting together the website. That's almost in the process. Freedomall.org. Again, freedomall.org. Be our website. You know what I'm saying? You can go right there. You can tune in with us. You know, to start in Wednesday also. Freedomall.org. I can't remember the website in particular for Mumia, but we had it also on freedomall.org. We just had a conference call in regards to that. You know, so we're pushing, and we know also the fight we had in regards not just to take Mumia technically off the death row, also the form of chemical biological warfare in which the state was trying to take him out again through tuberculosis. You know what I'm saying? They refused medical treatment. It was the power of the people. You know what I'm saying, that they really pushed, you know what I'm saying, to get them some treatment, but we have to really have our guards up, y'all. Real talk. This is always, it is for quite some time, it has been the pigs against the people. This dynamic, you've seen, the coronavirus, aka COVID-19, aka the Rona, you know what I'm saying, we have to heighten the concentration that is that against the community. Again, that against, you know, we have to put in political context, and it's like you see, and many analogies can be drawn from this. That whether it be nefarious intent or naivety, that, you know what I'm saying, this dynamic, you know what I'm saying, how it's impacting us, you know what I'm saying? Again, free them all, yes indeed, right on. Who is, free them all, so do my good brother, young brother and friend. I'm getting older, moving towards 70 years old, next in December, but at night, knowing that organizers like you get through with skills, insight, knowledge, strength, abilities, as the product of a powerful legacy for all powerful people, Elder Lionel Nixon, Universal African people. Right on, revolutionary respect. Lionel Nixon, right on. Thank you for tuning in, brother. Right on. Thank you for your commitment, your stance, and your support, my brother. Right on. These are tough times. We got to be tougher people, y'all. Tough times, tougher people. And again, we have to. It can be demoralizing. People just saying, "Well, just it's an invisible enemy. You don't know what's going on." So, and just lay it on down. But again, we have to struggle to this with Chairman Fred. So we have to dare to struggle, dare to win. You know what I'm saying? Someone, how do you feel? How you move? Not know. You know what I'm saying? That this could be the last days. And I said, well, I mean, actually, I've been damaged to the point that I grew up. I came up with looking at all my days as my potential, as my possible last days. You know what I'm saying? Erica says the money going on to the chip along with the vaccine. It takes your temperature location. The money going on the chip along with the vaccine. It takes your temperature location. Car keys to even go in the store. The 2030 agenda in Maryland, the state legislature has proposed a bill already to prevent employers and state government from requiring or coercing anyone to be implanted with the identification device. It's already happening in Wisconsin. When we hear about this stuff, when we hear about these different impending laws or laws that maybe, that are probably in place in many places, this system has laxed and laws, such, and disconnected from so many people from a historical account where they get out. Many people, they can't even fathom this how this system gets down, and so just the struggle to acknowledge of not who we're dealing with, who is dealing with us. You know what I'm saying? Because again, I think it's a saying that they have in Islam. The biggest trick the devil pulled is make you believe that he don't exist. And again, Sun Tzu says the art of war, the cardinal principle of warfare is to know thyself and know thy enemy, y'all. We live in Iraq, y'all. Go, man. We still fighting the campaign to save the Hampton House. We still fighting to expose the contradictions that happened in Chirac. You know what I'm saying? I'm struggling. I know it's a process. They tell me, don't put your hand in your face. It's so difficult, different dynamic. We struggling to deal with. Even just in the community, you know what I'm saying. I embrace the people, you know what I'm saying. And this, and again, you want to, you take into account the different habits and humans, we're creatures of natures of habit, and just again, we're getting different theories and notions, you know what I'm saying, how to interact, how we can't interact. And again, and struggling to maintain our humanity, you know what I'm saying. So when we learn as we go, though. But again, this is serious business. We want to make sure, you know what I'm saying, that we whatever the case may be, because for years to come, I'm sure there'll be different summations, but no doubt about it, you know what I'm saying. The political dynamics is primary. It's primary. Chris Davis, that's what it is. Y'all feel free to call in with us at 929-477-3785 and then press 1 to be heard, y'all. Let's make history. Let's take history, y'all. Real talk.
Come on, Brother Tim.
Free Monster, comrade.
Yeah, we're going to call in queue. Call it 312-409.
Welcome to Freedom Radio. Freedom Power People.
Respect and service, sir.
Right on.
Yeah, so one was looking on Facebook, so one had noticed they had right on Fremont, they had these convoy of big white trucks. I guess about 20 trucks headed to New York City. And they said these trucks going to be used as temporary morgues. And I'm not saying the area they talked about over there in Queens and urban areas where African people reside. I'm like, this sounds like genocide to me. And everything we spoke of on the last show, if you look at the social sites, look at the news, everything down to the dime channel. So you said it's coming to pass, and before all of that, you've been saying. So it's time for our people to have our eyes open, sir. And
yeah.
Something, sir. I never seen nothing like it. As you ran it down, channel, sir, everything to the dime. Yeah. Like you said, any conversation out of 5 minutes. 5 minutes, anybody know no interruption. You're gonna
Revolution of love, right back at you, right back at you. Free them all. Yes, indeed. These are, and I wish. I mean, it would be ideal to say, a lot of things we've been saying that it would be ideal that they would not come into pass. You know what I'm saying? And it would be ideal to say, we just just throwing out some abstract conspiracy theory. You know what I'm saying? This, the deal is, you take into account what this system was built up of. Its inception. You know what I'm saying? Prior to all this, the various forms of technology that we grasping, the various forms of chemical, biological warfare. Look at the populace of the indigenous community, the native people, with the smallpox, with the blankets that were issued out, just even by natural, with the colonialists when they came. They came just coming into contact with the amount of the depth. You know what I'm saying? You look at and a lot of times we have a reactionary response. You just think that people just this land just people just just disappeared or they just moved or just you hear terms like manifest destiny. We're told this, you know what I'm saying? But we got to struggle to lay this, give an historical account again, because even in our demise and our depth. We got people that are now just coming to grips on what happened to the Black Panther Party, what happened to our movements of the 60s, what happened to our grandparents and grandfathers to their homes, why they left, why they were forced from down south. So we just it's trickling down and people still not, not grasping the atrocities. And so that we can lay some stuff down so that people can grasp it. It should be a norm, it should be a birthright to come in through the door, acknowledging, you know what I'm saying? And you hear people talk about, this generation, the amount of resources that people have had, and it's that the spoiling the children, not telling, I don't want them to know about this, so on and so forth. And you can see somebody made a joke about it, but they were cracking, but they were facking. They had a meme saying it's going to be situated with a lot of adults going to look at their children and say, "Whoa, maybe it's not all the teachers' fault. You about to come head on." You know what I'm saying? To see each other, to see, you know what I'm saying, even deprive a lot of the distractions that we had, you know what I'm saying, to get to know each other, see each other, and we have to struggle to again historical context and not be idealists to the point that thinking that just because information is given, that some people that they would align with a certain position. We're trying to heighten the contradiction so, since we can move forward and, recognize who is who. There are those that would say, I don't care, man, I've had certain people that in the streets that have said, listen, man, I don't care what, I'm going to do this. There are those who in Rome would do what the Romans do. Then there are those who are cut from the cloth and say, I'm going to rap with Hannibal and Carthage, even in defeat. And we got to come to grips with that. There are, you know what I'm saying? And survive at what extent? You know what I'm saying? You have to listen to the conversation. Like even now, you know, whether it be in your family, your households, your comrades, movements, organizations, different. You look at certain, and you say, "Whoa, this is not no change. This is not no great leap. This is consistent with this person's respective history. This is consistent with this organization's history." And now we in dire times. It's intense. It's so intense. You know what I'm saying? You can't afford the luxury. You know what I'm saying? I came into contact with a comrade who I hadn't seen in quite some time yesterday. And soon we seen each other, we were stick and move, you know what I'm saying? And this do a past history of a resume of work. Soon we came into contact. It was like a new greeting that we did, you know what I'm saying? And it was thrust. It was birthed out of these conditions. And these are different dynamics. This is as a result of contradictions, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of times we just think things just happen. When you talk about like even different dynamics and like even Haiti, Dominican Republic, and Puerto Rico, you know, so a lot of people just say, well, that's just that people just like that. No, these are results of different communities, are a result of different contradictions, in many cases antagonistic contradictions, you know what I'm saying, the seasoning period, you know what I'm saying, when Africans were kidnapped, you know what I'm saying, from Africa and dropped in different locations for, you know, for in many cases 7 years, you know what I'm saying, who the various rapists, you know what I'm saying, in this particular community, colony, you know what I'm saying, with the indigenous community, the African community, the Portuguese, and you know what I'm saying, as a result, what communities came up, you know what I'm saying, and that's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. You know, just to say, well, man, I thought we just was like that. A brother told me, I mean, a brother said he was asking his grandmother, he was down south. He asked his grandmother, said, Grandma, why is Uncle such and such so dark and such so dark, but my mother, she's so light. And his grandma said, baby, there's a lot of things we don't like to talk about. That's a, you know, so these are different. This we have to come to grips with that. It's gonna be different handshake, different chores, different conversation. People are gonna come up thinking that you just supposed to wear plastic all the time, and we have to acknowledge these contradictions. And also in a way that they acknowledge that it's something, that it's a system that impacts, you know, that brought out certain dynamics and, you know, saying, responses that in many cases this was needed. This was called for in order for survival. You know, saying, whether just in response to the weather elements or to the different psychological elements, what have you. We have to acknowledge these contradictions, and again, at the root of it, imperialism. You know, some people, oh man, this here you go again. Oh, you damn right. At the root of it, the different dynamics. I mean, even this, I don't know, our families. I mean, we talking about crack. We talking about different forms of chemical, biological warfare, different stages. Again, how do we the amount of children that have been had to rear themselves that come up in these foster care. It's a dynamic. It's a psychic that has been produced and reproduced. That we have to acknowledge again. We have to struggle to. There are those, many cases, there are those who we got some casualties. We got some casualties. There was, you know what I'm saying, some casualties in this war. You know what I'm saying? We must be able to put this in war context. And again, even to the point of even death, let us be service to the people and service of history. Timothy Paul, my brother, right back at you, man. To Gron, I see you, my brother. Yes, indeed. I just, man, love and respect to you, my brother. Eric Wilkins, I see you, my brother. Eric, free them all. Right on. Any callers? Just in the comment stuff. We should not negate that. Devalue the importance of that. The trucks going into New York. We got word also. They say like even with the curfew being implemented in Chicago and other places, that these poles, these 5G. We still doing research on that. These 5G poles that some have said are used for communication devices. Some said it exacerbates the coronavirus. We hear different reports about it, but it's why are they being placed up at nighttime? They're being put up at nighttime, you know what I'm saying, when the curfew is really enforced. So pigs ain't sleeping, man. The system is not sleeping. The system is not sleeping, y'all. You know, and so we have to be on the heads of all, you know, all the different dynamics. We have to struggle to get the best of our medical teams, the best of our psychological, those who deal with psychological warfare. You know, we got to, you know, a whole lot of talents and you better stand, you know, recognize your respective lane. To recognize your respective lane. You know, so we, you know, those cats that say they some hitters, we on point. Those, man, again, we are in foreign territory. We must struggle to draw the line of demarcation. Whose interest do you work in? The state of the people. We calling on y'all to help you. So we're gonna be keeping y'all on our next club and community caravan. You know what I'm saying? We struggling to be scientific, to have them gloves on and masks, also to be in the cars, bringing attention to those who are held captive in Cook County Jail, right there, the largest county jail in the country. We're saying free them all. And a lot of people say, well, Tim, you calling for major problems in the community. Do you know who they got in jail? And I told the guy earlier, I said, I feel your emotion. I said, do you know who put him in jail? Do you know about the James Van Dyke? Do you know the history of these criminals? Do you know about these guards? Do you know about what's in Logan, the penitentiary in Logan? How they, you know what I'm saying, how these guards are playing games right now with the female population. Well, you know what I'm saying, they're putting the transgenders in there and using them as experiments on the women right now in the female prison, Illinois, right now today. So if you talking about some criminals, you know what I'm saying? I mean, let's level the playing field. You know what I'm saying? And the Marines, the U.S. Marines, they say in war. This is actual mantra of the Marines. They say, man, corporal or whatever, how do we move? Who do we move on? Their position is, man, kill them all. Let God sort them out. They say, you can do it. Our thing is, Free them all. Let the people sort them out. We know that there are contradictions. And you can be real, say everything is political. You know what I'm saying? You like, even and we have to be as what Frantz Fanon said, you know, Algerian theoretician Frantz Fanon, to be able to accept the concessions without compromising our principles. And you know what I'm saying? Man, you better sift through when they do certain things. You know what I'm saying? Watch who they grab the release in the certain things out of the prison. So we have to move again, push forward our demand, our unrelenting demand to free them all. Real talk. Yes, indeed. The John Birds and like the notorious history of these individuals. And we, you know what I'm saying? We working on this Zoom. You know what I'm saying? We talking about having some think tanks. You know what I'm saying? Again, any ideas y'all got? You know what I'm saying? Our best resources are the people. So whatever resource idea we still have, we gonna the pantry tomorrow. We can aid and assist with transportation, getting people to the pantry. That's at 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. That's at 67 right up Green, 1 block up west of Halsted. The Hampton, we working on trying to figure out how to strategically host the triple C's again. Still keep maintaining campaigns because again we have to really I don't hate to quote the Marines again, but they say assess and adapt. So we're struggling on how to deal with that also. We have food still for the people. Yes, indeed. The Marine. Fremont to come right.
Fremont, we have caller 847-722.
Welcome to Fremont Radio.
Fremont.
Fremont Comrade Chairman, am I live right now?
You live and direct, yes sir.
I wanted to, I want to make a report back to you guys from Chicago Transit Authority. I was a member of Amalgamated Transit Union Local 241.
Yes.
I wanted to expose a few things about CTA. They are lying to people about disinfecting the buses. They are not doing that. I've had numerous reports from my 241 sisters and brothers that the buses are not being disinfected, despite what CTA says. And also, we have a number of infections in the bus garages. There are 22 bus operators from the Ford garage on the northwest side of Chicago that have tested positive for COVID-19. There are 4 operators from the 77th Street garage on the south side that have tested positive. And there's at least 1 operator from the Chicago garage on the west side that have tested positive. So CTA is lying to everybody. Okay?
Yes.
There's a number of things going on at CTA right now. We have an extremely corrupt leadership in 241 that's done nothing to secure the health of the membership and the riding public. Fortunately, Dr. Willie Wilson has come in and actually donated a bunch of masks and gloves and PPEs for the bus operators that we're very grateful for. But it's pathetic that the union leadership has not done this. We need to be rescued by a millionaire. You know, there's black caucuses in the Amalgamated Transit Union, which actually nationwide is an actually very good union, that has stepped up and risen to the occasion and raised funds to take care of their members' needs. But unfortunately, in Chicago and Local 241, that's not happening. You know? So what we're looking at right now is that there's a rank and file rebellion in Local 241 against the Keys Hill leadership. So we're trying to actually secure our health and secure the health of the riding public on CTA. And CTA is doing nothing to help us with that.
But is it any thing that the outside the community can do? Like a tweet, a basic tweet or so, a call in to expose the contradictions. You know what I'm saying? You said local 221. You said 241. What union was it? Which one was it?
241. That's right.
241.
Local 241 is for bus operations, and local 308 is for rail operations. But you know, people need to put pressure on Mayor Lightfoot. Mayor Lightfoot was as friend of the community, but actually she is against CPAC and she is pro the police academy.
Yes.
She is not a friend of the community. She's continuing colonial relationship, the neo-colonial relationship between the white oppressor nation and the black oppressed nation and the Puerto Rican colony and Chicanos that are outside of the Aztlan homeland, right?
Yes.
So that she's continuing that colonial relationship black face in a white place, which is the problem, right? So
Yeah.
people need to continue to turn up the heat on the Lightfoot administration, right? Which
Yes.
is just a front for white supremacy, in my opinion.
Yes, indeed. Okay. So again, callers and listeners, this that kind of ties into something. It's another announcement we're going to make too. They supposed to have the hearings either today or tomorrow, about regards to the incoming police superintendent, because Beck from California, LA, has been standing in. But we want to definitely again. I know it's pressing. A lot of people. Every time we get called, we say we only could deal with one subject at a time. But this machine, all these different dynamics, the fact that people, the Cook County Jail is connected to the conditions on the public transportation. You know what I'm saying? And they know when certain, you know what I'm saying, certain when neglect or better yet, intentional neglect, and also things are placed in the colonized community, again from the what type of services and lack of services.
That's absolutely correct, Comrade Chairman. I'm glad they got rid of drunk ass Eddie Johnson, but whoever they put in there is going to be just as bad, you know. And the only place that the enforcement of the shelter in place is going on seems to me to be the south side and the west side. Like on the north side, you know, it seems like people can just go wherever they want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's it exposes the contradictions of the system. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes.
So
yes.
But in any case, free them all, comrade. I want to get back to listening to the podcast.
Free them all, comrade. Revolutionary, appreciate it. Thank you for calling in. Again, y'all, we encourage free them all. We encourage you to call in, update us. Nothing is too. You may say, well, this is not political. This is just my cousin locked up. Well, this is just I'm seeing certain social services, you know what I'm saying, being allocated certain areas. This period is on steroids. Well, what's been happening all the time? We know, we've seen, running joke, you know what I'm saying, up north by Comiskey Park where the Cubs play at, at nighttime by Wrigley Field, the white community can come out there, drink, have kegs of beer, have a ball without any police intervention, no police harassment. We know the difference. You ride down Lakeshore Drive, you know what communities you're going to, you know what I'm saying, when you hit the hood. And our emotions, many times our emotions are tapped into. They say, well, we are killing each other. Opens a door. You know what I'm saying? Again, we would deal with contradictions in our community. But I mind you, if you put that horse before you put the buggy, I guarantee you'll be surprised. I would say 99.9%. The contradiction will be alleviated. Acknowledge it, just calling that principal contradiction out. The state, again, and when we say the state, it's not limited to just the state's attorneys. Not limited to those in uniform. Again, there are mercenaries, and all police don't wear uniform. What type of drugs are pushing our community? What type of healthcare facilities? You look at these different cases and rules going on. You say, man, these doctors shouldn't not have even been veterinarians. They shouldn't be allowed to do surgery on a fucking goldfish. Why? You know what I'm saying? It's not by coincidence they have been flooded throughout the black and other colonized communities. And it's been exacerbated. You know what I'm saying? Right now, this opens the door because throughout any. That's why you see even U.S. President Donald Trump pushing for such terms. And you see like similar to like we in politics, we say everything is political, including language. You see him pushing for. He wants to be defined as recognized as a wartime president. When you have different terms, it opens the doors for different policies. Like you like these Negro elected officials, they talk about, well, let's say this, saying if this is classified as this opens the door. Even you hear about the National Guard, you be like, why is he different leadership, Negro leadership? Why would they call it National Guard? This opens the door again, not only for the martial law and different other aspects of it, but the funding the funding, you know what I'm saying, the funding apparatuses. So like in our community, we get, well, no, you shouldn't say that. You get caught up in this debate of schematics, which is not that. It's not a simple debate of schematics. It's actual tied to a policy. It's actually tied to a policy. When certain things, once they say this is this allows for. It's allowed and encouraged. This what comes with it. This is the when you say like, even I mean we look at such case examples. It's the infamous crime bill that many people say, okay, yeah, the crime is bad. You know what I'm saying? They had such Machiavellian representatives as former U.S. President William Jefferson Clinton. You know what I'm saying? And not he alone. By no means. Again, when we talk about these contradictions, it's important to keep inclusive the climate. You know what I'm saying? Not he alone. You know what I'm saying? The different Negro. You go back and look and say, well, who else was there when these policies were enacted? You know what I'm saying? You look at go back and rewind. What type of sermons were put out by various religious representatives? What type of discussion? What type of TV shows? What type of movies was coming out? What was the front line of Chicago Tribune? This set the political climate. You know what I'm saying, for the crime bill, which you later on you said you read, you like, whoa, how is this? How are we handcuffed about filing for a particular motion in Mumia Abu Jamal's case, due in part to something that was put in place with the crime bill? When you're gonna be surprised under COVID-19 legislation, you know, under the stimulus, you'll be like, whoa, I didn't know this came with it. What did this small print come in with? You know what I'm saying? When your emotions, when your political pores are open, you're like, okay, do what you will. Do what you will. You know what I'm saying? Or give me my check. You know what I'm saying? You're like, okay, man, all this goes, yeah, give me my check. So, and we know it's hard to, how you say, when your ribs are touching, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of hard to stay focused, stay logical. Again, if one thing for sure, two things for certain. The system does not have our interests in hand. So again, we want to do in regards to these phone calls and you know, so we know, you know what I'm saying, again, tie this in, you know what I'm saying, with the Lightfoot, the situation, we got our guards up about, you know what I'm saying, the police policies, the local 241 in regards to the public transportation. We talked about before, like even with the grants and stuff under the Rahm Emanuel administration, you know what I'm saying, which particular lines, which transit lines, that the money was allocated, $2 billion allocated to which particular transit lines. What transit lines were shut down at what time? You know what I'm saying? We find it by no coincidence at the time when Chicago had broke American historical records by closing down 50 Chicago public schools at one time. Simultaneously, the Red Line, which is known to, you know what I'm saying, to be right through the urban community, through the hood, was shut down. All this is interrelated. You know, since you got cats that are literally trapped in certain spots of the hood, y'all. Real talk. So this is done by design. Again, okay, man, we in, Toy says one of our cousins for CTA has the virus. Let me, again, there are so many people that, you know what I'm saying, this healthcare contradiction has been, this healthcare, all these discussions that people are talking about, it's been happening to us so long, and it's been exacerbated. Keep these forces on our minds and our hearts. And we owe it to ourselves, we owe it to our people, we owe it to the community again, to data struggle, to really to heighten these contradictions. You know what I'm saying? Again, that, you know, for generations, those I don't want to seem morbid or macabre. The deal is we have been losing a lot, but we don't want another generation to come up just such just disappear. I struggled with a sister before. Her daughter said that her father went to jail. I said, no. I said, please. He was kidnapped. You know what I'm saying? And that was going on right now in our communities again. So we have to, you know what I'm saying, in the event of our demise, if we are to survive, I don't want to draw, I want to, you know, it's a battle. And we can't even fathom, you know, planning on wiping us the fuck out. But nothing else that we just didn't, you know, just didn't disappear. You know what I'm saying? We're just not disappearing. And it does, you know, something is to us. This something is to I say us, I'm talking about the people. that they're saying that this I mean what lengths this system has and will go to. This is and again, the dog wags the tail don't wag the dog. This the people the it's not medical then the politics. It's not economy then the politics. Because if it was just switch it around and see if you just do impact the economy first, and you will see this type of impact. But the politics of the coronavirus, how was saying even how everything from the name of it. I mean they it's say the corona the name in regards to this say it looks like a crown, but even the names they give it, saying they go, it's done. It breeds a sentiment of defeatism. Again, there's a crown. So you have to. Again, we have to struggle for our terms. We have to struggle to put this in, again, political context. I mean, this happened. This not. We talk about electoral politics. Right before election day, this goes down. You know what I'm saying? And again, the music, everything, y'all. We got to be on heads up on this here. Again, this is political. Real talk. Red, I see you, my brother. Real talk. Toy, I see you in the building. Sean, if I let you right on, I see you in the building, man. You right on. Keep your head up on it. Keep us posted. You know what I'm saying? What's going on your end also? Sis, right on. Comrade stand. On this day in history, Chicago PPP starts its first degree breakfast for school children program. April 1st, 1969. Right on. Historical note. April, man. Again, happy anniversary to the Black Panther Party, to the programs. The programs like serving the people, y'all, very important. I have made a comment again for that the colonized calendar reflect these programs and the leaps and bounds. You know what I'm saying? That prototype under these conditions, what we are able to do, what we have done. So again, and similar to people, Sister Africa Porter, she had posted up something yesterday like, those who feel embarrassed, reach out to inbox if they need a meal or what have you. Let's not get stranglehold. To absolutes. Well, like people say, well, you can't come in contact. We find we have to become innovative. You know what I'm saying? We got ways of communicating. During the era of chattel slavery, the pamphlet of David Walker's Appeal. They had utilized certain forces on the boats, to go past maritime law, to get David Walker's Appeal passed around. They became innovative with the Reverend Nat Turner with the church, the word out. We have to become innovative on how to aid our people. You know what I'm saying? Again, just even the we want to do these call-ins, these check-ins, these cub-ins. We want to, matter of fact, with the shows, we want to look for the Zoom thing, will give us updates all over what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Just for the mental stability, and also the actual, you know what I'm saying, live. Well, the fight still on. It's still on for the Hampton House. We're still fighting. I got still on. We're still fighting to save and maintain the Hampton House. The GoFundMe.com/Save the Hampton House 50 is still rolling. Still putting up. I gotta check some things out. Again, we got to be like an octopus dealing with all these different dynamics. But we still putting up. Still reposting that GoFundMe.com/Save the Hampton House. We're gonna have the triple C's throughout. Our central committee is in the process of getting some the sanitize and some more stuff. We're gonna have that set right in front of the Hampton House Saturday, where the people themselves can come get the sanitizer and the food product. So we working on that. But the campaign again, GoFundMe.com/Save the Hampton House 50 is still moving. Cash App Save the Hampton House is also available also. But these campaigns are still moving. We got to keep on fighting. Yep, it's GoFundMe.com Save the Hampton House 50 on the GoFundMe, I believe. Yeah, 50. Number 50, I have to say that, Erica. Yes, indeed. So we the campaign, the Freedom We still got to keep on moving. You know what I'm saying? I wish we could just say, well, they gonna ease up over this. And there are certain moves we got to move fast on. But they're keeping their guards on all fronts. We got to keep our guards up on all fronts and keep on swinging. Real talk, excuse me. Free Monster, come right.
No, we have caller 412. Fremont.
Fremont, welcome to Fremont Radio.
Fremont, Chairman. Fremont.
Fremont. Fremont, Erica, welcome to Fremont Radio. Right on.
Thank you. So I just want to start off, as always, they say at the Hampton House, that the fight's still going on. It ain't over till the Hampton House is secure. And so I got to start off saying that. And then something else you have said that made me think about this other contradiction about like this whole thing that's going on, because it's way bigger than, in my opinion, it's way bigger than just the COVID-19, the virus, whatever. Even though it's, people are sick with the virus, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But the contradiction is with when this first started, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would get the news early in the morning, and I was seeing like the different articles, and I was reading them all, and I would see that the numbers was never matching up. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And when they would say like their little peaks and all that, so as soon as I started talking about the peaks, all their numbers changed. As soon as I did that live video and told Allegheny County stand up, they never put out another numbers. The numbers is all messed up. They're not giving us correct information. They pay people to say it's not real, then they're paying the celebrities to say they got it and they look all like they're not sick. You know what I'm saying? They are playing so many games. It's like, I'm going to send you this in your messages, right, Chairman? You got to watch this shit. It'll clear you up on so much. You know what I'm saying? Because it's so crazy. Like the bigger picture. This is a way bigger thing than like COVID-19. And they introducing it right now. But they're messing up because they weren't prepared for people to be as on top of it, like as woke as people like to call it or whatever. Like, yeah, I was catching all of that. Like your numbers ain't matching up. They got some people saying like the hospitals nobody's in their hospital. But another thing I want to say about that, right? As I'm watching it, because you gotta watch it like in different areas, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, they're putting it where they want it to go, like somebody else said, it's certain areas. Whoever called in talking about the CK, certain areas is not even, they're not big alcohol, living life, ain't nobody chasing them in the house, nothing like that. Then there are certain areas that just ain't on those restrictions or nothing yet. Like those people, and that's what I'm saying. Like when you see these people on here and they're saying, "Well, this ain't in my hospital. This is a scam. Ain't nobody got the virus. It ain't get to you yet." You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And they're putting it from areas on purpose. You know what I mean? But I know that they're trying to save some of the areas. I don't think they want to be everywhere because this is like the initiating the martial law, all this other shit that's coming into play. Like they really, and even like you said, there are certain areas you probably see it more than me because you know what I mean. I don't get out too much, but I can imagine it's probably like that here, where there's certain areas where you can't even move around. Because I would be in one of them probably. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And this thing is way, way bigger than that. But like when you looking at these articles and different information, I had like 2 of my things on Facebook where it came back and said fact check, and some of the information in your article was not correct or something like that. Like they on top of that. But you got to remember who controls all of it. Who controls what is seen and where it goes and how, you know what I mean? Like they control all of that. So they're only, what they want us to read, and they're not thinking we're catching on to these certain contradictions. But we just gotta really, really pay attention because for the way it's going down, I just think that it's like really way bigger than any of us could really even fathom at this point. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. We just gotta pay attention. That's all I really wanted to say. Chairman. Yep.
Right on. Free them all. Yeah, this is
Free them all.
Free them all. Again, we dare not devalue the seriousness of what we do. You know what I'm saying? What we're dealing with. or just dealing with us. We want to struggle to be. We want to struggle to deal with it. We have to, you know what I'm saying? Again, we can't. You know, we can't. We don't. We don't describe that, you know, being no ostrich, you know what I'm saying, gonna put our head in the sand and don't acknowledge it. We, you know, we ascribe to the fact that, you know, we have to deal with this contradiction. We have to face on, we have to struggle to face it. You know, it's not on its own, not on its on terms of the issue to us, not reactionary terms, but political terms. Again, put this in context. How we view this, like, you know, like our interaction, lack of interaction. And again, open the door for forces from different fields. In fact, one of the sister Erica Kendrick, who she gonna get online with us about in regards to the toll, in regards to mental health. So we're gonna bring her on also. But all these dynamics, the struggles, like I said, it's gonna be it's foreign territory in many aspects. A lot of people that say first time, you know, it's for us being in the household with each other. So we have to struggle to put things in place. And deal with this scientifically, you know what I'm saying? And our hummus and knowledge too that, like I said, we can't even fathom. Yeah, real talk. Tough times, hashtag tough people, y'all. We live and direct, Freedom on Radio, making history, taking history. Yes, indeed. 808. Any more calls in queue? Give me a station break for a minute if you can, Sister Conrad. What we got on? Long live Nipsey Hussle. Yesterday marked a year after the assassination. So you're right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Nipsey Hussle. Yesterday marked the year after his assassination. Long live Nipsey Hussle, y'all. Yeah, let's give me a play on Nipsey real quick. Yes, indeed. Nipsey Hussle, y'all.
Young black niggas trapped in the cage, know what you did, you just can't claim it. Cause they let you know platforms to explain it. He frustrated, so he gets faded. But deep down inside, you know you can't fake it. How long shall I stay dedicated? How long till opportunity meets preparation? I need some real nigga reparation. Or I run up in your face for recreation, dedication, hard work, plus patience. Some more of my sacrifice, I'm done waiting. Told you that I wasn't playing. Now you hear what I've been saying. Dedication. They broke on me, said I ran a South Side, but that's a lie. I spent my whole life staring at the stage, playing Sega, daddy smoking sherm, mama playing spades, catching papers. Grandma said I used some sorting for my grave, that's my baby. When she died, my heart broke 100 ways. I spent my whole life trying to make it, trying to change it. The cycle of a black man divided, trying to break it. You take a large shit, don't cry about it, just embrace it. Mine is setback, so make it come back, that's my favorite. My nigga L said you do it on with it, came right here, better grip. I said here, nigga, first hit a word, started flip, the whole flourishing from the streets, the black benefits. Level 4, y'all living, giving some fucking imprisonment. It's the coke, my nigga. It's bigger than both, my nigga. With elementary, we both, my nigga. It's slick like that. I give you the game, go back to the turf and give it right back. For generations, we've been dealt bad hands for bad plans. Prove your dedication by hopping out red hands. Nigga, premier, politicking for Scott Smith, Big Snoop, damn. Clock watching the way you move. Dedication, Hold up. It's like an entertainment. Four niggas on the plane, should these concepts and spirituals I swam against the waves with. Ended up on the shore to their amazement. Now I hope the example I set's not insatiate. Like a behind gates for can't blame us. Used to be stay safe, now stay dangerous. Cause ain't no point playing defense, nigga. That's why I don't want the deep end, nigga, without a life jacket. Couple mils for the world, got my life cracked. Took the books, bring it back, so there's no taxes. Royalty, ownership, plus I own nothing. I'll be damned if I play much the fight.
Busy Matter, Kim, my sister Revolutionary love to you. Brother Nick, all powers of people, right on, right back at you. And they Morris, see Kim. Bumping that Nipsey. Yesterday made a year after the assassination of Young Nip. We would be remiss. You can't talk about LA, can't have my cub on my fellow cub on the line with us, y'all, to my LA, and also assassinations. It was a lonely legacy. Letterman's defense. Our Prentice Bunchy Carter, y'all, assassinated in UCLA. January 17th, along with Deputy Minister of Education, John Huggins, y'all. Revolution love right back at you, right back at you. These are tough times. We gotta be tougher people. It's intense. I even mentioned. I tell you, you know, I try to stay focused on the battlefield. And that's what this is. It's a battlefield. A few people ask me, say, you hear about Face? In fact, the comrade Dabney said, you see the interview with Face and Willie D? And I strategically, they say Face, I suppose had the coronavirus. He's coming back together. And we hearing like the toll is taking. You know what I'm saying? Like even I mentioned before, like in Chirac, the killings, and I tell people, I say, you know, don't never get it twisted. I mean, I struggle with these political assessments. Even when, you know, when people, you know, around the corner from where we live at, we hearing about it, you know. But I just try to stay focused on the battlefield. Like you see, you know, like even you hear me speak third person, different situations or scenarios that you would say, why even just speaking about it personally? Even regards to, you know, December 4th, 1969, you know, again, for a number of reasons, you know what I'm saying, but primarily that, I don't want to just limit it to subjectivity. And the you never hear me say the police killed my daddy, but you know, the U.S. government assassinated Chairman Fred and the defense kind of Montclair. And I struggle to keep, you know what I'm saying, to stay a soldier on this dynamic, but this is the toll, as Field Marshal George Jackson said, that capitalism, and you can, that capitalism can be, it can be interchanged with crack, the coronavirus, you know what I'm saying, what have you. It not only affects the economy, but it affects the psychic of the people. It not only affects the economy, but it affects the psychic of the people. And, you know, just, you know what I'm saying, just, again, we want to keep our heads up and keep us, and that's why I say, even with the flyer, we struggle to get, not just even the Black Panther Party Cubs, but it's another picture of their brother Eric Mobley with New Era. This brother, you know, he tunes in us a lot. He comes to various events, supportive. He, you know, so and the deal is, there are people. Lines are being redefined. There are different coalitions with different forces. It's needed to understand and see about these different dynamics, because again, we distinguish a revolution from a war. A war is two occupying armies where they suit up and boot up and do what they do. They fight, you know, get the gun, the military aspects of it. Revolution does not negate that. They never negate the importance of the battle, the actual physical get down, the military aspect. However, it's inclusive of the masses, the people. So even we're fighting to redefine the lines, because it's historically the pigs against the people, and the coronavirus against the community. You can look at it like, how do you the ante has to be up, you know, challenging, you know, contradictions. You know what I'm saying? Redefine how you view the race consciousness and the class contradiction, and putting this in again, and like another, well, this person don't like me while I'm getting this, or it's something, and this is a time where the climate, the ground is right to be cultivated for objective political analysis. And so many contradictions, you know, we're talking about the crack, you know, some different dynamics. Many people, the prison contradictions, people, well, they're just, well, black people, this happens to black people. But when dynamics, you know, saying that cross, as you say, the politics, geographical, gender, and generational lines. Because in so many cases, our community in particular, any oppressed community, you see it's strategically tactic to pull you over. Well, it's the women's issue. This is this issue. But the ruling class, whether it's a different, they may have a different face on it. You know what I'm saying? You know, a male or female or what have you. You know what I'm saying? Even colonialism, neo-colonialism, different races have the agenda. The agenda is the exploitation. The exploitation. The robbing. You know what I'm saying? Of communities. You know what I'm saying? Of people. The gutting. The massacre, the murder, you know what I'm saying? Use it up and disperse of it. And to the point, it's like, you know what I'm saying, a pig will eat anything, and, you know what I'm saying? It's not, and not in many cases, people can afford the luxury. Was it me personally, or if I do this, I don't do it? Every day we're hearing different dynamics. So if you don't, we'll do this, walk, you know what I'm saying, change this, change. And it's not even stagnant for a second. It's not even stagnant. Similar to but more intense. I mean, like during the Black Power movement of the '60s, different contradictions. You know what I'm saying? The draft, the contradictions in prisons, how the prisons were viewed. You know what I'm saying? The ante was being upward. You know what I'm saying? What people saying. This draft, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, who's going to be picked up next, and whether it be some, you know what I'm saying, some white college bound guy, or because the deal is Vietnam was so hot on the revolution was was so hot on U.S. imperialism heels. I mean, they ran the French and other ruling class entities up out of there. You see, you know what I'm saying? U.S. imperialism was being questioned in sync with such arrogant representatives at that time. U.S. President Richard Milhouse Nixon. That was in, yeah. You know what I'm saying? And we see that to this day. Those contradictions during that time of Nixon, prior to Nixon, Lyndon Baines Johnson, John F. Kennedy, these contradictions were existing, but they may have been dormant, different than that. But that wedding, that marriage of the representative of the system that's getting down, said, yes, that's how we get down. You know what I'm saying? That's where the people themselves can say, well, no, it's not that. They said, no, this is what we do. This in Vietnam. The inventors of the chemical Agent Orange, whose own son, you know what I'm saying, was subject to death, you know, who they killed with the chemical Agent Orange. And they said, you know, what the climate was countries were heightened, people can recognize and say, man, they saying, the president himself is saying that he called for wiretaps in his own house. The person that created the Agent Orange, you know what I'm saying, his own son got it. So it allowed for a conscious discussion, a political discussion, as opposed to, well, there's self-indictment all the time. Well, I done this to myself, you know what I'm saying? Or we would do this, or we do this the right way, this may happen to us. We see a climate now. And you know what I'm saying? And it go either way, because as Malcolm X said, the collective consciousness of the people ticks slowly, but it erupts with a volcanic force that make Mount St. Helens look like nothing. Again, Malcolm X said the collective consciousness of the people ticks slowly, but it erupts with a volcanic force to make Mount St. Helens look like nothing. And again, there are no absolutes. We cannot romanticize this climate. Say, oh yeah, man, we gonna automatically come, you know what I'm saying, come to grips and struggle. We look at cases in New Orleans when you've seen the statements from U.S. President George Bush, from Laura, his wife, George Bush seen his wife, seeing the arrogance, and people still, you know what I'm saying, was still, you know, trying to say, well, this ain't that, you know what I'm saying. There was some courageous resistance from the community. However, but it's no absolute. So we have to recognize that even with the Welfare Reform Act under the tenure of Bill Clinton, people say, well, how are we going to respond to this? And again, no absolutes. There are some who are going to resort to do something strange for some change. And there was some. There also the communalism where people say, well, I'll go borrow a cup of sugar from your neighbor next door. You know what I'm saying? So again, we've had time prior to this to see which organizations, which individuals, you know what I'm saying, how I respond. And again, it's intense. And again, and we look for the reverb effect, the after, you know what I'm saying? Because I mean, it's like man, I hate to use this analogy, but like in boxing, you know, talking about like the hits, you know what I'm saying? They after coming out the boxing ring. So even this, you know what I'm saying? When we get, because a lot of things when you in it, you can't even see a lot of different dynamics. You know what I'm saying? Like I was watching even some of this, some of the pieces, this Netflix piece, Snowfall. And I was just flashing back on certain dynamics about, you know, doing the crack, the era of crack, you know, so just even our communities, man, just how it impacted us. You know what I'm saying? And we're still paying the toll tax on that. You know what I'm saying? But when you in it, you can't. You're moving so fast. You know what I'm saying? It's dehumanizing. We remember the terms. You know what I'm saying? But you think about like even the warfare that was going down in L.A., Chicago. all the St. Louis, all over the country. You know what I'm saying? And the impact. And you know what I'm saying? Even though there was certain individuals that was raised up, sitting they rolling the fancy cars, so on and so forth. You know what I'm saying? But man, you hear people talking about like, you know what I'm saying, like that even they're different doing another Hiroshima that was dropping like a million to the heroin. You looked at Frank Lucas and others, they showed images, they had the meat coast that was rolling, but on the other end of the spectrum, you say, man, look at how demoralized we were. What happened to, you know what I'm saying? And not until we say, yeah, we survived, we came out. And some people say, well, man, that's how they pay for their granddaughter's tuition, university, so on and so forth. However, we never come out unscathed. You know, it's an old saying that says, God created Africans and America made niggas. It's not like this. They say like the whales was in the water and just natural mutation. In fact, this is one of the struggles we have with the white left theoreticians, such as the Marx and Leninist theoreticians. They refer to what happened to, you know what I'm saying, this whole dynamic of chattel slavery is primitive accumulation. In other words, like it's a natural dynamic that just happened, you know what I'm saying, it's like the law of the land, like, you know, this is how the things evolve, like, you know, so the whole thing with slavery, so on and so forth. This you know what I'm saying, this negates, this negates the atrocities, the rape, the murder, the different dynamics alone that we have not reported this already. If this stops today, if they say, okay, coronavirus, you know, it's over with tomorrow, the impact of what they have produced thus far. You know what I'm saying? I had to catch myself when I go to the community, do our programs, you know what I'm saying? I grew up in the climate. Though it was disrespectful. Not to, you know what I'm saying? I grew up, you know what I'm saying? Don Dirk, you just tuned in. You know what I'm talking about. I had eye contact. You couldn't walk past another man without shaking his hand. You know what I'm saying? It was mandatory. You know what I'm saying? Even different street tribes. I remember the way they embraced, they would hit each other on the back, throw their symbols on their back. And so every time we hit with these attacks, we never come out unscathed. It chips away at you. It chips away at your manhood, your womanhood, your humanity, your childhood. So again, it's a continuous battle. You know what I'm saying? The dynamics will crack. How we view each other. Raising families, so on and so forth. So again, in this battlefield, we're going to win. You know, we got to win. You know what I'm saying? And we are fighting for not just the physical aspects of our lives, but again, our humanity. You know what I'm saying? And we need a structure and a politics. So we got to be clear on who we are. And that clarity on who we are, we cannot afford the luxury to be caught in a time warp of a bubble of saying this is who we were. You know what I'm saying? This beautiful speech detached of this is the people we are, detached of slave ships, detached of colonialism. We must acknowledge that. We must say we have to. I see the brother today. We got to acknowledge this whole dynamic. We're still treading through foreign territory. You know what I'm saying? For I know it, me and one of them comrades, we seen each other, and subconsciously we did a greeting. You know what I'm saying? How we touched each other's arms with the coat. And I said, damn. And it was no laid out, no 4-hour meeting. It wasn't no long, call official. It was only conditions that created that. In fact, the Black Panther Party, we do. It came by accident. I remember in Galesburg, me and the brother was shaking hands. That's how we came up with the shake that we do. It was a result of distinguishing ourselves from the various street organizations, but recognizing the Black Panther Party, because the Prison Conscience Committee, we had to have something that distinguished us, because without organization, you die. Like I tell people, I said, listen, man, Chicago has historically been a structural place in regards to race, class, you name it. And I say, man, this is when Chairman Frey would go meet with the various street organizations. If you were not clear on who you were, that structure, without that, everything, the other structures will eat your ass up. If you don't know who you are, like I told a young brother in the penitentiary before, when he came in, I would see him, he would go to different galleries, he said, I pulled him to the side, I said, look, brother, he said, I just like being with everybody. I said, that little la-la land that you think this is, brother? I said, man, there are contradictions in this place. That exists. I said, it's not. He said, well, he said, Chairman, I said, you speak to such and such. I said, yeah, I'm clear who I am. I said, it's a joke they make about me. They say Chairman Fred can go to the Stone meeting, Disciple meeting, Hebrew service, Vice Lord meeting, Muslim service, and still come out Chairman Fred. Are you in that position? I said, that's a rhetorical question, brother. I said, because dig, man, this the wrong place to be looking for an identity, because they will give you one in this motherfucker. Deal is, this jellyfish, we can't afford it, man. And man, you gotta be clear. Man, we gotta heighten the contradictions. Again, what we dealing with, who we are. We get, you know what I'm saying? It's vague. Well, this is how I view it. This is chemical biological warfare. We can debate on the particulars, and you know what I'm saying. Well, you know what I'm saying. I think it came from this. You know what I'm saying. Imperial. This is chemical. This is political. This is political, like everything else. And we have to struggle for the political terms, the whole different dynamics of it. We have to struggle for that. And to put it in political, historical context, again, even in depth. And I don't want to seem morbid, but the deal is, in warfare, you got to acknowledge that every, you know what I'm saying, the part, you know what I'm saying, there's no foregone conclusion that you come out, you know what I'm saying, victorious. But however, we're not just fighting for the people, we're fighting for history. So we want to struggle, you know what I'm saying, that it's laid out so it can be natural. As soon as you come in this motherfucker, you, man, guards up. It's like they say with the wildebeest. As soon as the wildebeest drops his baby, it's within 30 seconds that motherfucker got to be running. Within 30 seconds got to be running. Because the leopards and the lions are right there waiting on their ass. As soon as they drop, you can say, well, what month did the wildebeest, was it Capricorn? Well, they left them, it's hunting season all motherfucking day in that jungle. Ain't no, well, is this a female wildebeest or the male wildebeest? That motherfucking, that leopard ain't gender tripping. That lion ain't gender tripping. It's at its motherfucking ass. It's the law of the jungle. It's the eco. It's how this motherfucker. It's the nature of the motherfucker. And you have people that try to sidetrack you. Well, does the wildebeest know who it is? Was it a registered voter? You know what I'm saying? Did the mother wildebeest save its money? You're dealing. This motherfucker is waiting on, and there's a piece on an Animal Channel where the wildebeest had dropped the baby. As soon as she dropped, the leopard was at the motherfucker, the leopard and moved, and just so happened the leopard or lioness, I forgot what it was, just so happened this particular lioness had just lost her child, her cub, just lost it. So there were mother instincts. Yeah, there's a certain chemical, like men have pheromones. It's not just about how you think. The actual physical and biological and scientific chemicals that come, that men, pheromones. You say, well, my man, I'm the male. Okay, all that sound in the scientific world. So this lion, her instincts. So she seen this baby she had just lost hers. So this sufficed. This fed that need right then. You see a lot of times in relationships, people say, well, they're looking for a father, looking for a mother. You see, they say, well, it may defy all other definitions. Well, this person is not that. That's not my biological father, biological mother. But it taps into something that may have been deprived and missing. It's that old saying, looking for love in the wrong places. And it tapped into that. The line is, it grabbed that wildebeest and cut it down. And this when that birth, that film came off that baby wildebeest, it connected. That was his. This is first concept. This is first concept. Many of these entertainers and these political figures they give us. You say, well, they physically black. Their first concept, who they were raised by. Oh, you cannot just delete that. And if you think you have, it's still in the computer membrane. So then, when they took that wildebeest baby in, then add to that. When the wildebeest ventured out and came across another wildebeest who happened to be breastfeeding its child, which is able to do one child, one offspring. It pushed the same wildebeest back. So now you add that. The same damage to the wildebeest, now taking it subjectively. So whoa, this lion took me in. Fuck all the reason you explaining to them, but they don't hear nothing about this. Well, man, this mother took you in because they got an agenda to range up to fuck over our community. They using your child to push a political agenda. They don't hear that. All they seeing is this is fulfilling some subjective personal need for them. This is making up for my missing child, my missing father, my missing mother. And so then you go back and you try to touch down, and you just have to run to the wrong wildebeest and say, man, no, I gotta take care of this one. So now you think you disconnected. So your whole the frame of reference is the lioness. So then when the same wildebeest connected with some other wildebeest, and the natural law of things, objective situations, the lions was coming at them to attack them. The other two wildebeest had ran. The one that first contact was that lioness, turned around and went back to the motherfucker that was eat them up. And the lions, they said, man, they was fucked up because this is going against the law of nature. They said, man, this better than the motherfucking Grubhub, the DoorDash. This motherfucker is coming to us, this motherfucker is bringing the meal to us, and it fucked them up. It fucked them up. And the deal is, we have to put this in this. A lot of people are fucked up. They go into the same system. This historically what this motherfucker's been doing to us. You know what I'm saying? And we can't even fathom it. We have to seize the time, y'all. We gotta be scientific, heighten the contradictions, look for the turns of some. You know what I'm saying, man? To put this in political context, chemical biological warfare, y'all, y'all keep y'all heads up, eyes on the fist clench, y'all. We're going to continue to struggle. We're going to goddamn it with Chairman Fred. So we're going to get it. We're going to get a win. Y'all tune back in, cub back in with us. We're going to repost this. We're going to get this, we're going to get this Zoom thing rolling. I'm learning as I go with this technology. We're trying to up the ante. Again, we'll keep y'all posted, y'all. Keep y'all heads up, eyes on the fist clench, y'all. Yesterday was the year of the young Nip. Long live Nipsey Hussle. Revolution, love, and respect to all y'all tuned in. Your heads up, eyes on the fist clench. Sister Conrad, can we get some Nipsey before we roll out?
Free 'em all, Brother Timmy. Yes, indeed.
Free 'em all.
Free 'em all.
Marvin Gaye too, today is his day. Don't let Marvin Gaye, I didn't know that. Don't let Nipsey Hussle, yes indeed. Hello, Conrad, we can afford to. Free 'em all.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio.
Save the Hampton House, GoFundMe.com/Save the Hampton House 50. Long live Nip. Free 'em all.